Hey, fourth grade, good to see you. Mr. Sweet. We are doing another division lesson, and this one's just going to be a review. This is division lesson 5 review, and this is going to look a little different from the past lessons we've done, as this is going to be more of a follow along, see if you can get the answer correct. So before we even get started, if you need to pause the video, make sure you have a pencil and some scratch paper to do our division work. All right, we're going to go ahead and pause if you need to pause. If not, we're going to continue. Our essential question is, how can you divide multi-digit dividends and check your answers? So we've been working on multi-digit dividends, whether it's 2, 3, or 4 dividends with single-digit divisors. And remember, to check your answer, you got to multiply the quotient by your divisor. And I want to make sure you guys are reviewing this video. So you will have to answer the riddle question on its learning. And when you answer the riddle question, that tells me you reviewed this video and you are ready to go for tomorrow's division common assessment. And here's the riddle question. Why was the obtuse triangle so frustrated? And again, the answer will be somewhere in the lesson. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, here's example 1. Okay, so I have 186 as my dividend. I have a blue 7 as my divisor. Oh, I've already given you 2 answers. I'm going to pause. Let's look at the division problem. So I have a 7, I have 186, I have a 26, and I have a remainder 4. All right, so I want you guys to pause the video with this problem up. And before you pause, I want to make sure you guys can answer what is the quotient, what is the divisor, what is the remainder, and the dividend. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can answer those just kind of like verbally. You're not going to write this problem down, just answer it. And when you feel comfortable, go ahead and unpause the video. Okay. Welcome back. And let's go ahead. I'm going to give you the answers. So I'm going to start. Let's see if I can start at the top. I have here, if you said 26 was the quotient, you were correct. You said remainder 4 was the remainder. Good job. And then I have the 186. That is your dividend. And then lastly is your divisor. So that's on the outside of the house. And this is your divisor. Okay. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video now before we go on to our next example. Welcome back. Again, feel free to pause anytime, rewind and review as much as you need to. Hopefully this helps for your common assessment tomorrow. And we're going to move on to example 2. So I have 132 divided by 2. So guys, go ahead and say that out loud with me. 132 divided by 2. Now remember, there are other ways to write division problems. We can write it as a fraction. 132 is now your numerator divided by 2. Or we could write it this way as well. So we have 132 divided by 2. Okay? All right. So for this one, 132 divided by 2, there are different ways you can actually do your division problem. So I'm going to do it one way, and I'm not going to tell you how I'm doing it, but I want to see if you can recognize what method we're using. Okay. So what I want you guys to do first, though, actually, no, we'll do this one together. So here we go. So let's see if we can recognize what the actual method is. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do this without saying anything. Bring up a different color. You know, I changed my mind. Let's do it a different way. So I do 2 times 50 is 100, subtract 32. Okay. And so I got to think 2 times what is close to 32? Okay. So I want you guys to pause the video. I want you to think, what method is this? And I'm going to say, is it regrouping or is it the partial quotient? Okay. Go ahead and pause the video and just see, answer it. And then if you don't need to pause, you already know it. If you said this is partial quotient, you are correct. So this is the partial quotient. So good job. If you got that, remember to check your work. So you're going to multiply 66 times 2. 66 times 2. 12. And then over here, I get 2 times 6. 12 plus the 1, 3, 132. That matches your dividend. You know it's correct. All right, if you need to review, rewind, go ahead and pause the video now. We're going to move on to the next example. If not, all right, welcome back, fourth grade. We're now on example 3. And example 3 has 4,200 divided by 7. Now, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and show you the example. So I'm going to rewrite it to where I could do my long division. So 4,200, that's going to be your dividend. So if you say it out loud, 4,200 divided by 7, that makes it easier. And you put your 7 on the outside of the house. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you the method I'm using, but I will let you know at the end. Okay. Different color here. And remember, if these get tricky, you still have to do the steps for the zeros. So what do you guys think? Give you guys a minute. What method did I just do? Did Mr. Sweet just do? Okay, if you said this was regrouping, give yourself a happy face. You are correct. So it is regrouping. This is a regrouping method. All right. So with that, and again, my pen sometimes just gets lost. I think we're getting them back. And the regrouping method is kind of like disco division. So again, you will need to know that. So regrouping. Now, let me get a different color. And if I look back at this expression, I have 4,200 divided by 7. Remember, there's a quicker way than doing long division. You guys can do your basic fact. So a basic fact is a number that does not have a 0. So for example, I have 4,200 divided by 7. My basic fact is 42. And then I can take that and divide by 7, 42 divided by 7, or think what times, if you do the inverse, what times 7 equals 42? We know it's 6. So the 6 goes here. 42 divided by 7 is 6. And then you just simply add your 2 zeros that are left over. Oh, right here. So you get your 2 zeros, just add them at the end. That's just another way. If you see like dividends with zeros, a lot of times you can just do those basic facts and just do it this way. Okay. So go ahead if you need to pause the video and we will move on to our next example if you need to review. Now I have the riddle answer. I'm not putting it at the very end. I'm throwing it right in the middle. So your riddle answer is this. It had a lot of problems. Ha ha ha. I thought that was a good math question. So yeah, it had a lot of problems. That is a real answer. And once we finish with this follow along, I want you guys to answer. That way I know you guys reviewed the division with me on its learning. So you have to do your answer on its learning. Now, example 4 is here. So this will be our last example of the day. Now, what I want you guys to do for example 4 is I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to do this one on your own. Again, if you want to use the regrouping method or partial quotients, it's really up to you. But I am going to do this shortly, but I want you to try. And then once you have your quotient and you've checked your work by multiplying quotient by your divisor, then I want you to unpause the video and then see if your work is correct. All right. So go ahead and pause the video and we will. Okay, welcome back. So here we go. Example 4. I have a dividend of 9,871. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started and get my pen to wake up. Wake up, wake up. Maybe my pen needs some coffee too. And I don't know why. Maybe something. There we go. All right, so we're going to start. And again, I'm going to do the regrouping method. So I'm going to start 9 divided by 3. We know it's 3. 9 divided by 3 times 3 is 9. So we just divide 9 divided by 3, then multiply 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, I'm going to erase this little more. Subtract, and then the next step, you guessed it, bring down, and then repeat. So we're going to go back and repeat the whole process. So 8 divided by 3 is 2. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract 2, and then bring down the 7. And then 27 divided by 3 works out pretty easy. That's a 9. And 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract 0, bring down the 1. And we know in this case, 1 divided by 3, I can't divide 1 candy bar 3 ways, so that's going to be 0. And then multiply 0 times 3 is 0. I have a remainder 1. So let's check our work. So I'm going to take this quotient, 3,290, multiply it times 3. Okay, 0, 27, carry my 2 over. 2 times 3, 6, plus 2 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, remember, 9,871, we're trying to get it to match, but don't forget we got to add our remainder of 1. So now we have 9,871. These two now match, meaning my dividend. So it is correct. So guys, rewind this video if you have any questions about any step. But this is going to help you guys get ready for tomorrow's common assessment. All right? All right, guys. I hope this helps. Talk to you guys soon.